Automobilista 2 is out of beta and in early access price only a short time. Is it worth buying now? Find out right here, right now. Greetings petrolheads and welcome to romrom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to our continuous reporting about Automobilista 2. Automobilista 2 has left early access and is now on 1.0, although it will keep the price of early access until the end of the Steam summer sale. It brings some new content compared to the last beta, and even if you may have read or heard it somewhere, we'll give you a short list at the end of the video. Much more important, I suppose, will be for you to know if it's worth buying. But before we tell you, remember that if you want to be informed about new videos, click subscribe and also click on the bell and become part of the ever-growing RomRom family. The graphics are mostly done, even if here and there the Project Cars 2 logo still appears, and the graphics are good if you like the style. Personally, I prefer the more realistic style of sims like Assetto Corsa Competizione or Race Room Racing Experience, but I can live with this style also because the VR support is excellent and not taxing my graphics card too much. I know this was to be expected considering the Project Cars 2 heritage. It still doesn't hurt to comment on it. Oh boy, I'm going to get roasted for this, but here it goes. The force feedback on my G29 is still not up to standards. It gets much better using the special file developed and posted by Automobilista 2 fans and users Carsten Wittberg and New Scorpy in the Razer forum, see the link in the description, but you still have to fiddle around to make it fit. And I don't mean tweak one or two numbers, I mean spending a couple of hours testing, changing things, testing again, changing things. You get the picture. I know it's hit and miss. The force feedback worked for some people from day one, and for some others it didn't. But if I take Kunos with Assetto Corsa Competizione as an example, while at the beginning the force feedback was quite bad, it got much better with every new release, and today there's not much to say with regards to force feedback. Razer have not been able to get there for me until their 1.0 version. Which is a pity, because as soon as you find the right spot for the force feedback, you really notice how much work has gone into the physics. You notice the weight transfer, blocking tires, and a myriad of other details. For now, I consider the force feedback of Assetto Corsa Competizione or Race Room Racing Experience better, but maybe as soon as I hit the Goldilocks settings of Automobilista 2, I may see it differently. Oh, and be advised that if you already have been using Automobilista 2 in the early access phase, you once again have to delete your local MyDocs Automobilista 2 folder. I like the sound in Automobilista 2. Again, it's not quite Assetto Corsa Competizione or Race Room Racing Experience level, but close enough, and it helps the immersion quite well. I raced the AI on a Camaro around Bathurst, and I didn't see any glaring errors as I had seen in older versions. Still, Automobilista, the first one, had me accustomed to quite a good AI, and here some racing lines by the AI had me scratching my head as to what it was supposed to be doing. I know Razer is going to continue fiddling around with Automobilista 2, and I suppose also with the AI. Maybe they'll get to the level of Automobilista soon. It's not bad, but it could be better. There's a ton of new content they've only now put into the 1.0 version. Here's a short list. New tracks are Bathurst, Brasilia, Granja Viana Kart and Cascais, Portugal, which is the old F1 Estoril track for all intents and purposes. New series and cars are the Stock Car 2020 series, which looks and feels great, Copa Montana, Opala Stock Cars 1979, F1 Retro Gen 1 series featuring the official Brabham BT44, Lotus 72E and the McLaren 23 Grand Prix cars amongst others, and the Ginetta G55 GT4 Super Cup series. Cars added are the 2018 Camaro SS and the Ginetta G58 prototype. Automobilista 2 is not the big explosion some had expected, not the next big thing. and in some parts it's even worse than Automobilista. But it's a solid sim and a contender to the podium of racing simulations, but in my opinion not in the pole position. That it doesn't support mods, it's also detrimental. Is it worth €40 or USD? Lesser polished games are sold for higher prices, so I guess it is. I just was expecting more from Razer. If we keep in mind everyone who bought the game in early access or buys it before the end of the Steam summer sale will get the Hockenheimring DLC for free included in the price, with historic versions 1977, 1988 and 2001 as well as the actual modern version, I guess it makes it even more attractive. Don't get me wrong, I don't regret paying €100 when I did, as I could follow every step Automobilista 2 did and because the offer included the Seasons Pass. As with Automobilista, I can recommend Automobilista 2 to everyone who wants a special sim with different tracks and cars than the rest of the sims we have available at the moment, and let's not forget it has a 24-hour cycle and changing weather conditions. It will surely find its place into many a sim racer's heart. The long-term satisfaction depends on the DLCs, but Razer have a good track record in that regard. I am hopeful of that. But it still doesn't have the stadium super tracks. That would be awesome in VR and with a proper force feedback, don't you think? If you want to see what has been done in Automobilista 2 from the beginning or see what content we have, check the playlist to the right or the video to the left. Until the next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other at the podium.
Visit romrom.net to connect to fellow sim racers and sim racing fans.